As soon as the Omni Vegeta arrives in the new reality, he's completely stunned. To make his energy scan easier, he decided to go to the place where the two strongest energies in that reality were located, or at least the strongest ones he could detect. At this moment, Omni Vegeta is in a parallel version of planet Earth, more specifically in an isolated region surrounded by mountains. And when he arrives at this place, he comes face to face with the unbearable, the most unexpected and disturbing sight he could imagine. He comes face to face with a female version of Goku who is dressed in simple training clothes, completely at ease in that natural environment. This woman, when she sees him arrive, is surprised, but soon greets him with total naturalness. And, with an innocent smile on her face, she comments that he arrived using teleportation and says she knows how to do that too. She says it's a pleasure to meet him and introduces herself, saying her name is Goku. Omni Vegeta gets very irritated by what he's seeing and, in his thoughts, asks if those infinite gods are joking. Goku doesn't really understand why he's so serious, but decides to approach him to continue the conversation. Omni Vegeta is about to try talking a bit more with this Goku to understand the situation of this reality, since he doesn't feel any kind of negative energy coming from her. However, Omni Vegeta feels a presence behind him, a presence that makes the air around him heavy. When he looks back, he sees another woman, and she's completely furious, emanating an absolutely demonic aura. This woman, to Vegeta's astonishment, looks a lot like him, and to complete the shock, Goku addresses her as Vegeta, saying that it's good she arrived because she just met a guy who looks strong. But the woman called Vegeta is not friendly at all. She's furious, telling Goku to open her eyes, and that this guy is clearly someone suspicious. Omni Vegeta is astonished when he hears this, and responds firmly that he has nothing to do with what she's implying, that he just arrived there by mistake and now has to deal with completely unbalanced alternate versions. When he says that, Goku gets offended. She doesn't quite understand what he meant, but by his tone, it sounds like he just called her unbalanced. Goku gets irritated and says she's going to teach Omni Vegeta a lesson so he can learn to be more polite. At an absolutely impressive speed, she charges at him with a spinning strike, catching Omni Vegeta off guard. But after being hit, Omni Vegeta manages to react and firmly hold Goku. He starts telling them to calm down a bit. At that moment, the female Vegeta becomes enraged, saying that he's trying to take advantage of Goku's innocence. She explodes her ki, transforming into a Super Saiyan, and lands a powerful kick on Omni Vegeta, who was trying to explain that he didn't want to fight, but is forced to retreat. Vegeta's attack is surprisingly strong, to the point of sending him flying. After pushing Omni Vegeta away, she scolds Goku, telling her to stop trusting strangers so easily. Goku, a bit confused, also transforms into a Super Saiyan and says she'll be more careful. Omni Vegeta gets up. He acknowledges that these women are truly powerful, so it's not a good idea to let his guard down. He takes a fighting stance and says that if they don't want to settle things calmly, then he'll respond in kind. Goku attacks first, delivering a flurry of quick strikes, which Omni Vegeta dodges with some difficulty. Vegeta takes advantage of the opening and comes in with a super powerful blow that almost hits him squarely. Managing to recover for a moment, Omni Vegeta counterattacks, landing a hit that sends Goku flying. Then, when he goes to block Vegeta's attack, he ends up landing a direct blow to her chest, which only increases the warrior's fury even more. Vegeta yells, saying that he's provoking her on purpose. Omni Vegeta responds firmly that it was just a combat reflex and that if she really wants to fight, she needs to be ready to be hit anywhere on her body. But Vegeta doesn't want to hear it and fires an enraged Final Flash, unleashing the power of her Super Saiyan 2 and engulfing Omni Vegeta in a colossal torrent of energy. After being hit, Omni Vegeta finally loses his patience. He says he'll start responding at the same level as them, and then transforms into a Super Saiyan. Goku and Vegeta are surprised when he transforms and comment that apparently this guy is also a Saiyan. Vegeta asks who he is and how he can possess such power. Omni Vegeta asks if they've finally decided to stop attacking to listen to what he has to say. But before he can say anything else, they hear someone yelling from a distance. It's a guy with dark hair shouting specifically for Goku, saying lunch is ready. Right away, Goku drops her Super Saiyan form and apologizes to everyone, saying she's going to eat. Omni Vegeta is left speechless, and Vegeta looks kind of embarrassed and irritated, saying Goku really is hopeless. It turns out the man who called Goku is Tito, her husband, who's the version of Titi in this reality. From what Omni Vegeta could gather, Tito is the one who takes care of the house and cooks for Goku, and on top of that, he's the one who works and supports the household. It seems like a tough life, and it seems Tito lives it with a lot of stress and irritation, since he complains about Goku non-stop while she eats without a care in the world. Tito also seems to feed Vegeta regularly, and he ended up inviting Omni Vegeta too, even though he has no clue who he is. While they were eating, Omni Vegeta explained the whole situation to Goku and the female version of himself, telling them who he is and why he's there. Omni Vegeta explains that he's looking for someone with a possibly corrupted energy, one or more individuals planning to cause massive chaos and disorder. They say they've met plenty of people like that. Actually, they've been fighting that kind of person their whole lives, but they haven't met anyone with this especially corrupted energy he's talking about. Omni Vegeta says he'll stick around for a while to try and find something relevant. After eating to their heart's content at Goku and Tito's house, Goku and Vegeta head to Capsule Corporation and they take Omni Vegeta with them. At Capsule Corp, Omni Vegeta meets Bulma, a man who, just like Bulma, is a brilliant scientist who builds highly advanced tech for training. Bulma does it because he's hopelessly in love with Vegeta, but she never gives him a chance, even though she takes full advantage of the stuff he invents. Goku and Vegeta invite Omni Vegeta to train with them, but he refuses, because there probably isn't any training method or equipment there that could make him stronger than he already is. Goku and Vegeta feel a bit challenged when they hear that, because the way he said it makes it sound like he's way stronger than them. Omni Vegeta replies that yes, he is much stronger than them. Goku pushes back on that, saying that back at the hot springs it didn't seem like that was the case. Omni Vegeta says that's because he didn't even use 1% of his power back there. Vegeta doesn't believe that and thinks he's just bragging, so she decides to challenge Omni Vegeta to another fight, and this time she's going to use all her power. Omni Vegeta smiles. He confidently says she can come at him if she wants, but she's only going to end up frustrated. Vegeta gets ready to prove him wrong, but that's when the three of them suddenly sense something and they stop to pay attention. Three very powerful energies are approaching Capsule Corp. Omni Vegeta recognizes them to some extent, even though they feel a little different. But Goku and Vegeta know these energies all too well. Both of them are very surprised when they realize what's happening. They know big trouble is coming, and they immediately start preparing for the worst. Like meteors, the three energy forces come down from the sky and land at Capsule Corporation. When Omni Vegeta sees who it is, he sighs and thinks to himself that his quota of weirdness for today is officially full. It turns out the ones who just arrived are the female versions of Cell, Majin Buu, and Frieza. They're called Cella, Majin Buna, and Frieza, respectively. Goku and Vegeta find it very strange to see these three. They say that Frieza invaded Earth many years ago and was expelled by them. Cella was completely destroyed by them years later, and Majin Buna was sealed away by them a few years back, so the fact that they're here again, and together no less, is very suspicious. Omni Vegeta, taking a good look at the three of them, notices something strange. With his superior perception, he senses a hidden evil energy deep inside them. He then tells the two Saiyans that someone is behind all of this, someone far beyond those three. Frieza tells Vegeta and Goku that she's come to take revenge for what they did to her in the past. She's going to kill those two damn Saiyans and become the ruler of the universe once again. Cella says she also wants to make them pay for everything and prove that she's the perfect warrior. And Majin Buna says she was so hungry all this time she was sealed away, and now she's going to satisfy that hunger by eating both of them. Vegeta and Goku both listen to the threats with a defiant smile on their faces. Vegeta says it's going to be a pleasure watching them try, and Goku tells them to bring it on. Meanwhile, in another reality he just arrived in, Omni Goku comes face to face with something that leaves him speechless. Goku has just come across the thing he could fear the most in life. In the gender-swapped reality, an intense battle is about to go down, watched by Omni Vegeta. Goku, the female Vegeta, Frieza, Majin Buna, and Cella power up to begin the fight. Seeing that the battle would cause massive destruction to Capsule Corporation and the city, Omni Vegeta used his teleportation technique to get everyone out of there and take them to a more isolated place so they could fight a bit more freely. The first to launch an attack is Frieza, who emits energy as she charges forward to strike the two Saiyan women. Goku responds immediately, having just transformed into a Super Saiyan. She rushes toward Frieza and a fast and fierce exchange of blows begins, ending with Frieza being thrown far away by a powerful hit from Goku. Cella, already transformed into Super Saiyan 2, tries to use Frieza's distraction as an opening to land a hit on Goku, but Goku, instantly transforming into Super Saiyan 2 as well, turns to defend against Cella's strike. Before either of them can make another move, Vegeta, also already in Super Saiyan 2, charges in and lands a massive blow on Cell, sending her flying too. Right after hitting Cell, Vegeta charges at Majin Buu and tries a series of attacks against her, but Buu handles the Saiyan woman's strikes really well, eventually landing a hit that knocks her back. After pushing Vegeta away, Majin Buu fires a massive energy blast at her, but Goku jumps in to protect Vegeta, blocking Buu's attack. But just the power of Super Saiyan 2 isn't enough to deal with Buu's energy blast, so Goku steps it up a notch, transforming into Super Saiyan 3 while simultaneously pushing Buu's energy right back at her with another blast. Cell and Frizzle try to help Buu by firing a barrage of energy attacks at Goku from behind, but Vegeta steps in front of them and deflects everyone, then goes after the other two enemies and starts trading blows with them, transforming into Super Saiyan 3 as well to boost her power even more. While fighting both of them, Vegeta quickly realizes that their power has grown a lot since the last time she fought them. Both of them are now able to overpower her Super Saiyan 3 form, something that would have been unthinkable in the past. Goku is feeling the same way with Majin Buu. In the past, her Super Saiyan 3 was enough to keep up with Buu until she sealed her. But now, even though Goku has gotten stronger since then, her Super Saiyan 3 is proving to be inferior to Buu as they fight. Cell and Frizzle combine two energy blasts and overpower Vegeta's final flash, completely steamrolling her with their combined powers. Meanwhile, Majin Buu overwhelms Goku and gives her a real beatdown after winning in a flurry of blows. Goku and Vegeta crash down near each other, both badly bruised and in pain as they struggle to get up. Vegeta is furious, saying that what just happened was a total humiliation for them. Goku, though a bit frustrated, ends up smiling and says that at least this way the fight will be more fun. She then suggests they push it to the next level, since stage 3 just isn't cutting it. The two of them gather even more energy and now transform into Super Saiyan 4, a transformation that none of the three villains had seen before. Frizzle comments that she always knew Saiyans were just monkeys in the end. Cell looks intrigued and says she didn't know the Saiyan cells inside her could result in that kind of transformation. Majin Buu doesn't care about any of that. She just wants to beat up and eat the two of them, and she charges in full force to continue the fight. But it doesn't take long for Buu to realize the difference between stage 3 and stage 4, because Vegeta rushes at her and starts beating the crap out of her, pounding her without mercy. Frizzle tries to help Buu, but she ends up taking even more of a beating, way more. Cell goes after Goku, but also gets severely beaten. At one point, Vegeta throws Majin Buu and Frizzle at Cell, making all three villains collide and crash to the ground together, dazed after taking such a beating. After that, she tells Goku it's time for the two of them to finish this once and for all. The two Saiyans team up, one firing a Kamehameha and the other a Gallic gun. The blue and purple energy waves merge, growing to a colossal size, surging side by side straight at the three villains. When the attack hits, a massive explosion erupts, wiping out a huge area. Goku looks a little worried, thinking they may have gone overboard with that blast and possibly killed all three, maybe even Majin Buu. Vegeta, on the other hand, doesn't seem too concerned. She says at least that's 3 pieces of scum less in the universe. But only Vegeta, whose perception far surpasses theirs, warns them not to celebrate just yet and tells them they better get ready for more trouble. The two don't understand why he's saying that at first, but the explanation comes when an insane explosion of energy bursts out, as an absurd amount of power is unleashed from the three villains. Frizzle reveals a transformation no one in that reality had seen before, the Golden Form. Cell goes even further. She just pulled off a very dangerous combo that massively boosted her power. Not only has she transformed into the Golden Form, but she's also using Super Saiyan power. In other words, she's using a Golden Form that's 50 times more powerful than normal. As for Majin Buu, she suddenly begins to radiate an enormous amount of Divine Ki, something no one had ever seen her use before. Goku and Vegeta are both stunned when they see this, because on top of powering up overall, those three just went even further beyond. Frizzle says she was already born with a very high power level, so she never cared about training. But after being defeated by those damn Saiyans, she started training a lot, and that's how she achieved this transformation. Cell says that since she also has Frizzle's cells, she was also able to attain the Golden Form through training. But she went even further and combined that power with that of the Super Saiyan. And Majin Buu explains that she already had a large amount of divine power within her that she had never used properly, so now she's learned how to use that power. Goku and Vegeta realize that things just got serious, so they immediately start pulling out their divine forms. both going into Super Saiyan Blue, Vegeta using Super Saiyan Blue evolution, and Goku using Super Saiyan Blue with Kaioken multiplied by 20. Meanwhile, in the reality of fusions, Omni Goku is also watching an intense battle unfold between Team Gogeta and Team Vegito. Shockwaves, high-speed blurs, and key explosions fly everywhere as the entire setting shifts into a ruined battlefield. The Potara Reality Piccolo, formed by Piccolo Jr., King Piccolo, and Kami-sama, and the Metamoru Reality Piccolo, formed by Piccolo Jr., Kami-sama, Nail, and Dende, fight at full throttle, locked in a fierce special beam cannon duel, each pouring everything they've got into their attack, trying to pierce the other's body mercilessly. Just as intense are Android 35, the Metamoru fusion of 17 and 18, and Android 1718, the Potara fusion of the two. Both are going all out, using their infinite energy in a barrage of strikes and energy blasts. Tiancha and Yamtien, respectively, the Metamoru and Potara fusions of Tien Shinhan and Yamcha clash in a battle full of eccentric techniques and wild abilities. Tiancha targets Yamtien with multiple hits using the quadruple Wolf Fang Fist, a 4-armed Wolf Fang Fist combo. Yamtien counters by blinding Tiancha with a solar flare and landing a spirit ball during the moment of blindness. Gula, the Potara fusion of Gohan and Buella, faces off against Gotenks in an all-out brawl. Mystic Gula takes on Super Saiyan 3 Gotenks with both going all in their fierce combat. Master Krillin, the Potara fusion of Master Roshi and Krillin, fires off a Kamehameha at Master Kushi, the Metamoru fusion of the same warriors, who counters with a Destructo Disc that cuts the Kamehameha in half and keeps flying toward Krillin, forcing him to dodge. Buchi, the Metamoru fusion of Bulma and Chi-Chi, fights with everything she's got against the Potara fusion of the same two, Chima. Buchi, though also skilled in hand-to-hand combat, focuses her fighting style much more on the use of technological gadgets, while Chima relies more heavily on martial arts. But without a doubt, the battle that stands out the most is the one between Gogeta and Vegito, both already in Super Saiyan Blue, exchanging absolutely frantic blows, showing an absurd power gap compared to the rest of the fighters. Omni Goku still doesn't understand the reason behind this fight between them, but he doesn't plan to stop the battle to ask. That would be rude, in his opinion. At one point, Vegito stuns Gogeta with a blow and launches an energy attack he can't block. Gogeta is forced to raise his level by using Kaioken times 10 to boost his Super Saiyan Blue and escape Vegito's attack, then flies toward him and starts beating on the other Saiyan, who can no longer match his strength and speed. However, Vegito quickly counters with Kaioken times 20. With that, he instantly surpasses Gogeta and starts pummeling him. Gogeta answers with Kaioken times 30. Then Vegito goes up to times 40. Then both crank it up to times 50. The madness starts taking over their fight, punches, kicks, and energy blasts fly in all directions, creating even more chaos on the battlefield. At one point, Gogeta is about to land a decisive hit, but at the last second, Vegito taps into Ultra Instinct and dodges the attack by mere millimeters, then launches an energy attack that gets cauterized by a powerful Hakai from Gogeta, who has just transformed into Ultra Ego. As the battle goes on, both keep switching between transformations and techniques. They essentially have the same powers and forms, and they alternate between them, trying to spot the first weakness in the other to land a decisive blow. While all of this is happening, Omni Goku is focusing hard, trying to detect any anomalies in their energies and also in the environment. He's trying to find any clues of a possible Chaos Agent lurking around, since that's probably his mission there. But as Omni Goku sharpens his focus, trying to detect an anomaly, he ends up sensing something else: the arrival of an extremely powerful being. This being arrives on Earth in the form of a beam of light, slamming into the ground with massive force, causing large-scale destruction upon landing and generating a colossal energy dome that immediately makes all the fusion fighters stop their battles on the spot. The being who just landed on Earth is none other than Wirus, the fusion of Whis and Beerus. When Omni Goku sees this, he knows for sure. This is when the real chaos begins. As soon as that strange being, who is the fusion of a god of destruction and an angel, arrives on the planet, already causing a huge commotion, he is met with surprise by everyone there. All the Potara and Metamoran warriors look at him with great astonishment, wondering who this being with such a strange aura is, someone they've never seen before. Gogeta thinks he might be an ally of Vegito, but he realizes that's not the case when Vegito thinks the same thing. The half-angel, half-destroyer introduces himself to them. He says his name is Wirus, and he's the angel of destruction of this universe. Vegito asks what the hell an angel of destruction is and what he wants. He complains that Wirus is interfering in something important and says he better leave. Wirus says that's exactly the reason why he came. He says he was in his divine and angelic sleep, deeply asleep, when suddenly he had a magnificent dream in which he faced a great warrior. When he woke up from that dream, Wirus searched for this so-called magnificent warrior who could offer him a great challenge, and that's when he became aware of this great battle that was taking place. He wants to know who this great warrior is that he's going to fight. Vegito tells Wirus that he's going to love fighting him later, but right now he's busy and Wirus better not interfere. Gogeta argues with Vegito, saying that it's obvious this great warrior is him, that he's the strongest one there. The two then start arguing, each saying he is stronger than the other. Wirus says they didn't understand the situation. He says he is Wirus, the angel of destruction, a being superior to all of them, and he will never stay in the background waiting for this ridiculous mortal battle to end just to get some attention. After saying that, Wirus proves he won't accept being ignored, and by simply snapping one of his fingers, he destroys half of the planet with a massive Hakai. Everyone is shocked when this happens, especially the Metamoro fusion team, who are the ones that live on this planet. Wirus, however, just smiles, and with that wicked smile on his face, he asks if they still plan to leave him aside now. From both sides, outrage grows toward Wirus, and both teams want to teach this guy a good lesson, still unaware of the level of danger he represents. Wirus summons his angelic staff, and by slamming it hard against the ground, he generates a wave of energy and impact that spreads throughout the surrounding region, and this energy starts to sweep away anyone who doesn't have enough strength to withstand it. All the fusions, except for Gogeta and Vegito, despite trying to resist and stay there, are swept far away by the power of that simple gesture from the Angel of Destruction. In the end, everyone is pushed away, except for Gogeta, Vegito and Omni Goku. Vegito says that Wirus is a bastard for hurting his friends like that. And emanating the power of Ultra Instinct, he charges at the Destroyer Angel to try a strike. But Wirus, using an incredible level of combat technique, manipulates Vegito's body in a way that uses Vegito's own strength against him and sends him flying. Gogeta exudes the energy of destruction from his Ultra Ego with great ferocity, furiously saying that Wirus will regret attacking the planet and his friends like this. He then launches a very powerful Hakai at Wirus, who, to Gogeta's complete surprise, simply points a finger and releases a small amount of destruction energy, which is enough to erase Gogeta's attack from existence and still hit him with an explosion that, although small, is powerful enough to bring Gogeta down. Both Vegito and Gogeta are very surprised by this. They have no doubt that Wirus just used Ultra Instinct and Hakai, powers they thought only they had mastered. It seems that, in this reality, Gogeta and Vegito learned these techniques on their own, and they know nothing of the gods, even though they also have divine transformations. Furious, Gogeta pushes his Ultra Ego power to the maximum and then attacks Wirus with everything he's got, but he's easily overwhelmed by the brute power of the Angel of Destruction, who returns every blow Gogeta throws with at least 3 times more force, and for every energy attack Gogeta fires, Wirus responds with one that is far more powerful. It doesn't take long before the Metamoran warrior is on the ground, defeated after taking a few hits and explosions. As soon as Gogeta falls, Vegito understands that it's his turn, and so he charges at Wirus with everything he's got, but is easily outmatched in every ability and power, with Wirus always returning Vegito's attacks with even more precise and damaging ones. In no time, the most powerful Potara warrior also falls, utterly in disbelief. Wirus is deeply disappointed after defeating the two. He truly believed that one of them was the warrior from his dreams, but now he realizes he was wrong. Frustrated, he prepares to destroy Earth and kill everyone there once and for all. But at that moment, Omni Goku intervenes, calling out to Wirus and saying that he still hasn't fought. When Wirus looks at Goku, he doesn't hide his disdain, saying that Goku doesn't seem very strong. In fact, to him, it looks like Goku is much weaker than the two he just defeated with extreme ease. But Goku tells Wirus not to judge a book by its cover, and that he'll definitely be surprised. After saying that, Omni Goku makes good on his word, and he leaves the Angel of Destruction completely speechless when he uses his Shinken transformation, becoming Goku Prime. When Wirus sees this being standing before him, he's mesmerized, realizing without a doubt that this is the one he dreamed about. In the gender-swapped reality, the battle between Goku and Vegeta against Cella, Majin Buu and Friezella is still raging on. Vegeta and Goku, even using Super Saiyan Blue Evolution and Super Saiyan Blue multiplied 20 times by Kaioken respectively, are getting totally beaten down by the trio of villains, Friezella using her golden form, Cella using the golden form with Super Saiyan. and Majin Buna wielding a high amount of divine power. At this moment, Goku is fighting multiple Majin Bunas, since Buna multiplied her body into several clones and now surrounds Goku, bombarding her with hundreds of attacks from all directions. Goku tries to defend herself as best she can, but she's struggling to handle so many Bunas and ends up getting punished by the various pink women surrounding her. At the same time, Vegeta is facing Frizzell and Cella, and she's also not managing to do much beyond getting beaten up by the two golden villains. At one point, Vegeta is completely cornered by both of them and takes a brutal sequence of attacks only to be launched far away afterward. After pushing Vegeta back, Frizzell and Cella prepare what they consider to be their finishing blow. Frizzell fires a massive supernova, while Cella unleashes a powerful Kamehameha. Vegeta, seeing the two attacks coming at her, realizes that if they hit, she'll definitely die. However, just when Cella and Frizzell think they've already won, their attacks collide with the massive explosion of purple energy, and after that, their energy blasts become nothing more than glowing flakes that vanish into the air. The one responsible for that was Vegeta herself, now revealing her Ultra Ego, shocking the two villains. Meanwhile, Goku, tired of getting beaten up by Majin Buna, uses her Ultra Instinct, and in an instant, all of Buna's clones, who had been hitting Goku with extreme ease, start missing every single attack, as the Saiyan frustrates every move with perfect dodges and blocks, showing extraordinary technical skill. After becoming practically untouchable to Majin Buna, Goku goes on the counterattack, striking Buna's clones with force and precision, turning the tide of the battle. The same happens with Ultra Ego Vegeta, who now begins to literally pummel Cella and Frizzell, who can't handle all the power and ferocity of the Saiyan using the power of destruction. After realizing they can't deal with Ultra Instinct and Ultra Ego, Divine Majin Buna, Golden Frizzell and Golden Super Saiyan Cella retreat and regroup. Frizzell admits her anger and shame, saying that despite everything, she's still weaker than those two inferior Saiyans. Cella is also very frustrated. She says she thought she had become the perfect warrior after reaching this level, but she still isn't. Majin Buna says she's starving to eat the two of them, but she can't, and that's infuriating. But right after saying that, Majin Buna smiles and reminds the other two that there's one last option. Frizzell already knows what Buna is talking about, but she doesn't like the idea. She sighs and says she really didn't expect to have to resort to such a humiliating option. Cella feels more or less the same, saying she didn't want to have to do this, but Majin Buna, already starting to detach two pieces of her body, says that this is necessary, unfortunately. Vegeta realizes what the three of them are planning to do, and she wants to stop it immediately, firing a massive torrent of destruction energy, intending to erase all three of them from existence once and for all. But before the attack reaches them, Cella and Frizzell are absorbed by Majin Buna, initiating a transformation process that culminates in an absurd explosion of power that sweeps away Vegeta's attack. In the middle of that whirlwind of energy, the new enemy is revealed: Majin Buu, the fusion of Majin Buna, Frizzell and Cella. And to make matters worse, Majin Buu is using a transformation that is an absolutely deadly combination, the Super Black Rosé form. The combination of Majin Buna's Divine Ki with Cella's Super Saiyan resulted in the Super Saiyan Rosé, and the combination of Cella and Frizzell's golden forms with the boosted power from the fusion of the three villains ended up giving rise to the black form. When Goku and Vegeta see this new enemy, they're shocked, realizing that her power just reached a level far beyond their own. Goku tells Vegeta they need to fuse immediately, because the way things are now, they probably won't survive even a single attack from her. But Vegeta refuses. She says she never wants to fuse with Goku again. Majin Buu already flies toward them, saying she's going to finish them off in the blink of an eye. Goku panics and yells at Vegeta, saying they need to fuse right now, or else they're going to die in the first blow. But Vegeta says she doesn't care. She would rather die than fuse with Goku. That's when Omni Vegeta intervenes. He says he understands Vegeta, but that he's had enough of this movie. Omni Vegeta then does the unthinkable. Using his telekinesis, he makes Goku and Vegeta crash into each other and fuse. No dance, no earrings, nothing needed. And then the female Gogeta appears, already using an Ultra transformation that combines Ultra Instinct and Ultra Ego, holding off a strike from Buu and then pushing her back. Buu gets irritated. since she wanted to end this fight right away. But Gogeta smiles, saying that the fight of their lives is about to begin. Seeing the majestic aura of the Shinken form shimmering right before his eyes, Wirus immediately understands that the man standing in front of him is definitely the warrior he saw in his dream, his great rival. At first, Wirus' expression is one of surprise, almost fear, but now, his expression changes to a wide smile. He feels extremely grateful for having found the warrior of his dreams like this. Goku Prime, Omni Goku in his Shinken form, says he wants to make a deal with Wirus. Wirus asks what kind of deal. Goku Prime says they're going to fight, and he's going to give Wirus the fight of his dreams, just the way he wants it. However, if he wins the fight, Wirus must take him to his superiors. When Wirus hears Goku Prime propose this deal, he laughs. He says it's awfully arrogant of Goku to think he can make a deal with the Angel of Destruction like that, as if they were equals. But, despite Goku Prime's supposed arrogance, he takes it all in good humor and says he'll accept the challenge. Goku Prime takes his fighting stance. He knows he can't underestimate this opponent, because the Angel of Destruction Wirus is truly powerful. Wirus also gets ready. In fact, he can't quite measure Goku Prime's power very well, since this so-called Shinken form is a power he's never seen before, and this energy radiating from Goku is a mystery to him. However, even without knowing much, he can tell that this guy is no joke. Goku is the one who takes the initiative, launching a barrage of energy attacks just to study Wirus' movements a little. But instead of dodging the attacks in a conventional way, Wirus creates a protective dome of destruction energy around himself, causing Goku Prime's energy blast to disperse like dust upon hitting his shield. Then, Wirus extends his arms, and that small dome of destructive energy that was just surrounding him starts to expand at an extraordinary speed and power. Goku Prime, knowing that the entire planet would be destroyed in a second if the Angel of Destruction's energy continued spreading, acts immediately. He flies toward the energy dome and touches it, then uses his own Hakai power to make Wirus' destructive energy simply vanish, surprising the Angel of Destruction with the fact that someone possesses destruction energy strong enough to overpower his own. But Wirus doesn't give himself time to be shocked, and then he moves as fast as teleportation to Goku Prime's back, aiming to land a surprise blow while Goku is distracted destroying his energy. However, Wirus' plan is foiled when a real clone of Goku Prime emerges from behind him and blocks the Angel of Destruction's strike to start exchanging blows with him. Even trading blows with just a mere clone of Goku Prime, Wirus finds himself struggling. Even with his Ultra Instinct highly developed, he finds himself at a technical disadvantage against Goku's clone, who also manages to match him in physical power. After taking a really strong hit from Goku Prime's clone, Wirus is forced to back off, and then, realizing he won't win using only his physical power, destructive force, and fighting skills, he decides to resort to magic as well, summoning his angelic staff. Goku Prime dispels his clone while smiling and saying that things are about to get even more interesting. Meanwhile, Gogeta and Vegito, who are watching the fight, are completely stunned by Goku Prime's overwhelming power. The same opponent who totally humiliated them without any effort is now being pushed back by Goku. Wirus, with his staff in hand, flies high up into the sky. Then, brandishing his staff, he surrounds himself with small balls of energy, which soon transform into large orbs of massive power that he hurls toward Goku Prime. Goku Prime raises one of his hands and forms a spirit ball made of pure destruction energy, and then he launches this energy ball against Wirus' first energy orb, instantly dissolving the Angel of Destruction's massive power ball. However, Goku's energy remains intact, and he guides it to hit all the other energy orbs, dismantling them all. Goku Prime then remotely guides the spirit ball in Wirus' direction to hit him, but Wirus, using his staff, creates a dimensional portal that removes him from where he is, letting Goku's attack pass right through. Next, that portal opens right behind Goku, with Wirus coming out of it and trying to land a deadly blow on Goku. However, Wirus' attack goes straight through because Goku turns his body ethereal, surprising Wirus, who is sure that the attack would land. Then, the counterattack comes, with Goku Prime striking Wirus and piercing through his body with an attack. Wirus quickly heals himself using the magical power of his staff. But even though he can perfectly heal his body, he can't heal his ego, which was deeply wounded. Wirus says he won't accept losing to anyone, and then he starts summoning even more power, unleashing a colossal angelic and destructive energy that begins to destroy everything around him. Gogeta becomes desperate, as his planet is about to be quickly destroyed by all that power. Vegito is also very concerned, because even though this isn't his planet, he and his friends are there. But Goku Prime doesn't let that happen. With just a hand gesture, he teleports the entire planet far away from there, 2 galaxies away, which in this reality he's in equals multiple multiverses. That way, only he and Wirus remain in the vacuum. The walls of reality begin to tremble before the power of the Angel of Destruction, who is now bloodthirsty, letting go of the calmer side that clearly came from Whis to bring out the wilder side that comes from Beerus. Wirus charges in, coming like a jet of energy toward Goku Prime and striking with much greater savagery. But Goku stays calm, using his unmatched combat skills to avoid or block all the Angel of Destruction's attacks, until he finally counterattacks with an incredibly precise precise and at the same time powerful blow that destroys part of Wirus' body. But Wirus quickly retreats while healing again, and now he uses his staff to multiply his body into several clones that surround Goku Prime. All the clones attack Goku at once, and he has to trade blows with all of them at the same time. But Goku manages to do it, which leaves Wirus even more impressed. Then Wirus has another idea, and with a snap of his fingers, he causes all his clones to self-destruct in a true explosive spectacle of destruction energy. The force of the explosion is so immense that several planets and stars within a radius of trillions of light years are instantly vaporized. But at the speed of a finger snap, everything that was destroyed is restored and brought back exactly as it was before. The one responsible for this reconstruction was Goku Prime, who escaped the explosion of Wirus' clones with a teleportation, completely unharmed. Wirus is outraged by this. He remarks that it's as if Goku can see everything he's going to do before he even does it. Goku Prime smiles and says that, in a way, he kind of can. Wirus becomes thoughtful and decides that, in that case, there's only one thing he can do. Wirus charges at Goku Prime, who gets ready to deal with yet another of his attacks. And, in fact, Goku manages to block Wirus' attack. However, suddenly, the Angel of Destruction just vanishes from in front of Goku and reappears behind him, stabbing through Goku with his staff. What Wirus just did was, after attacking Goku, he went back in time using his magical power to reappear behind him and catch him off guard. Basically, Wirus moved through time while Goku remained still in it. Wirus smiles proudly at his own cleverness, telling Goku that he got him. But did he really? In the gender-swapped reality, the female Gogeta is having the most intense battle of her life against Majin Buella. The female Gogeta uses the Ultra form, combining Goku's Ultra Instinct power with Vegeta's Ultra Ego. And Majin Buella is using the Super Black Rose form, which combines Super Saiyan Rose with the black form. Gogeta, combining Ultra Instinct and Ultra Ego, is capable of using extremely powerful and destructive attacks that are also incredibly precise. She has what could be called the perfect balance between offense and defense, between technique and brutality. But not even that is enough to rival Majin Buella, who displays absolutely extraordinary power thanks to the combination of the already very powerful black form with Super Saiyan Rose. The fight between the two unfolds with great violence and frenzy. Gogeta, fueled by the violent energy of destruction granted by Ultra Ego, attacks Buella with all the brutality she has. At the same time, she uses the technical finesse of Ultra Instinct to try to defend and dodge the enemy's attacks. On the other hand, Buella uses the raw, incredible power of the black form, combined with the perfectly balanced divine power of Super Saiyan Rose, forming a combination of brute force and divine mastery. Another major factor in Majin Buella's favor is the regeneration of Majin Buna, which allows her to recover completely and instantly from Gogeta's attacks. And that regeneration factor, combined with Sheila's Saiyan cells, grants Buella the Zenkai, making her stronger with each critical injury she recovers from. On the other hand, Gogeta has the advantage that, thanks to the characteristics of Ultra Ego, she gets stronger with every attack she takes from Buella, making her drive for battle grow even more. With both of them growing stronger, their battle becomes increasingly damaging to the planet, to the point where Omni Vegeta sees the need to use his own power to reinforce Earth, allowing the planet to withstand the fight. That's good for Gogeta, who can now fight without holding back. And, considering the opponent she's up against, being able to fight without restraint is very important. As the fight drags on, it becomes grueling for both Gogeta and Buella. Even though Gogeta grows stronger from the blows she takes thanks to Ultra Ego, her body still suffers the consequences. So with each hit she takes, the fight becomes more painful, and she has less physical health to keep going. On the other hand, the fight is also exhausting for Buella, especially because of the black form, which consumes a lot of energy. In other words, Buella's stamina is quickly running out. When both of them can barely stand, Gogeta makes a decision. There's a technique she didn't want to use, but given the circumstances, she's going to use it. Majin Buella gets curious about what technique it is and says she's just bluffing. Omni Vegeta, on the other hand, already has an idea of what Gogeta's talking about and says that she could have used it earlier, but her warrior spirit certainly didn't allow it. After tricking Goku Prime by altering time itself to land a decisive blow on him, Wirus boasts about his intelligence and power, saying that no matter how strong Goku is, he, the Angel of Destruction, will not be defeated. But Goku Prime surprises him with a smile and sarcastically asks if he's sure about what he's saying. At that moment, Goku Prime vanishes from in front of Wirus. He was nothing more than a residual image. The real Goku Prime is actually behind Wirus, with his hand pointed at him, signaling that if he wanted to, Wirus would be completely obliterated in the blink of an eye. The Angel of Destruction is absolutely shocked and asks how this is possible, since he manipulated time itself to land that attack on Goku. Goku replies that, just like Wirus used time to his advantage, he did the same. He used the time jump technique, where he advanced in time before being hit by Wirus, and what the destructive angel struck was nothing more than a residual image of him left in the past. Wirus can't believe what's happening and asks how it's possible that Goku predicted he would manipulate time itself. Goku Prime says that no matter what Wirus does, he will always be one step ahead. He tells him that Wirus is indeed very powerful, but he's still a level above him. Goku then asks if Wirus has already understood this, or if he still wants to keep trying to win this fight. At that moment, Wirus feels deeply humiliated, because he, who had never lost a battle before, now faces an enemy that seems unreachable to him. But despite that, he ends up agreeing with Goku, admitting that he really can't win, so there's no point in continuing to fight. Wirus lowers his ki as he admits defeat. The fight is over. Seeing that Wirus is sincere in his surrender, Goku Prime also lowers his ki and returns to his base form, becoming Omni Goku again. Goku says that he has fulfilled his part of the deal and gave Wirus the fight of his dreams. Now, it's Wirus' turn to keep his word and take him to the one above him. But before that, Goku tells Wirus he wants to do something. This leaves Wirus somewhat intrigued, wondering what could be so important that someone would delay meeting the one who is above even him, the Angel of Destruction. When Gogeta speaks with full conviction that she's going to win this fight now, Majin Buella becomes very intrigued. She starts accusing Gogeta of bluffing, saying that if she could really win the fight at any time, she would have done it already. Gogeta says that if she were a rational woman, she really would have done that, but she's a Saiyan warrior who suffers from the weaknesses of her own race, and the great weakness of Saiyans is their warrior pride. Buella asks what she means by that. Gogeta says that, as a Saiyan, she has the desire to win fights using her own strength. She wants to win by proving she's the most powerful, not by using other kinds of tricks. That's the reason she hasn't defeated Buella until now, even though she could. Majin Buella gets irritated by this and says it's all nonsense that Gogeta hasn't beaten her simply because she can't. But Gogeta proves her wrong by charging at Buella to land a punch. Buella blocks the punch, since it was a very obvious and straightforward move. But even while blocking Gogeta's punch, Buella suddenly starts to feel extremely unwell, and she loses all her power in an instant, when Cella and Friezelli are simply expelled from Majin Buna's body, undoing the powerful Majin Buella fusion. When this happens, the three villains are absolutely shocked. Majin Buna asks how Gogeta did that, and she says she did it using a technique called Forced Spirit Fission, which Vegeta learned some time ago and has now been perfected more than ever. Gogeta could have used this ability since the beginning of the fight, but she didn't, because she wanted to defeat Majin Buella another way. But it's better to beat Buella like this than to let Earth be put at greater risk with the continuation of this battle and the possible defeat of Gogeta herself. Seeing that the fight is already over, since Friezelli, Cella, and Majin Buna don't stand the slightest chance against Gogeta once separated, Omni Vegeta intervenes in the situation using his powers to restrain the trio of villains, saying that he wants to find out a few things, and to do that, he's going to tear the information out of them. After defeating Wirus, Omni Goku returns with him to Earth, where they meet with Gogeta, Vegito, and all the other Potara and Metamoran warriors. Their tension about the ongoing battle had been so great that, for a moment, they even forgot they were enemies. Omni Goku takes this opportunity to ask them why they are enemies and keep fighting all the time. And, to Goku's great surprise, none of them knows why. It turns out that, in this reality, there are two Earths, Earth 1 and Earth 2. On Earth 1, where they are now, live the Metamoru fusions, and on Earth 2 live the Potara fusions. But it seems that, in the past, there was only one Earth where both peoples lived. Something happened, however, and the two peoples went to war. Back then, a wish-granting dragon was summoned, and Earth was duplicated, thus creating two Earths, one for each people. But even separated on different planets, the Potara and Metamoran kept on warring, and this war has lasted until today. The thing is, no one knows how this fight began, and yet they keep on fighting. But Goku says he already has an idea of what's going on. He then spreads his arms and raises his hands, and suddenly, from everyone there, even from Wirus, a very small amount of strange energy comes out, an evil energy. No one understands what is happening or what that energy is. Omni Goku explains that deep inside each of their souls, an almost imperceptible amount of evil energy, chaos energy, had been placed. The amount is so subtle that not even he, with an extremely sharp level of perception, was able to notice it right away. He only managed to sense it because, when things began to heat up and everyone's anger and resentment were flaring, there was a slight increase in these energy sources. Omni Goku deduces that someone sabotaged the people of Earth, but it seems it wasn't just them. Even the deities were victims of this sabotage. Goku says that, without a doubt, this was the work of some agent of chaos, aiming to create conflict in this reality and somehow benefit from it. Goku proves his point. With a snap of his fingers, he destroys those tiny sources of evil energy that were inside the people, and then everyone feels a sudden change in their emotions. Vegito, looking at Gogeta, says he simply no longer feels all the anger he felt toward him just moments ago, and vice versa. It's as if a veil made of pure hatred had just fallen from their eyes. And in fact, this happens to everyone there. Even Wirus feels different. He feels more pure pure. Suddenly, the Metamoru and Potara fusions start to get along. Chima admits to Buchi that she always found her gadgets very interesting and wanted to learn more. Likewise, Buchi admits that she always thought Chima was a better fighter than her and says she'd like to learn some extra techniques. Master Kuririn tells Master Kurei that he has some magazines with beautiful women that Kurei might like to see. Master Kurei gets very embarrassed, but at the same time he wants to see them, and he accepts. And so, everyone else starts talking and discovering they have a lot in common. Vegito says he wants to find the one responsible for spreading this discord among their peoples, and asks Goku how they can do that. Gogeta agrees with him, also willing to help. Omni Goku says he still doesn't know exactly how to find this culprit, but he thinks he might discover something relevant if he meets the highest divine hierarchy of the multiverse, and that's why he wants Wirus' help. Wirus says that he will certainly be punished for taking Goku to the Almighty, but a deal is a deal, and he keeps his word. In the gender-swapped reality, Vegeta and Goku have already separated, while Omni Vegeta extracts the information he wants from Majin Buna, Cella, and Friezelli. Not that they want to give him the information, Omni Vegeta simply steals it from them, reading their minds and accessing their memories even against their will. Accessing the memories of the three, Omni Vegeta believes he has reached the culprit for their return and empowerment. In fact, he's very surprised by what he discovers, and tells Vegeta and Goku that they won't believe it. Omni Vegeta raises one of his hands and says that he will now bring forth the one truly responsible for all this, which makes the women there very tense. Vegeta then snaps his finger, and the culprit appears. When Goku and Vegeta see who it is, they simply can't believe it. In the reality of the fusions, Wirus fulfills his part of the deal and takes Omni Goku to where his superior is, the supreme god of the multiverse. When Goku arrives, he comes face to face with a very peculiar being, the union of the Grand Zeno and the Grand Priest, the Shinken. This being is called Zenshin, the Divine All. Before the Almighty Zenshin, even Wirus kneels. He asks forgiveness for the offense of coming without being invited and even bringing a stranger. However, he justifies it by saying that this person is not someone ordinary and that Zenshin might like to meet him. However, Zenshin was already aware of all this. He tells Wirus that he already knows of Omni Goku's presence because the fight they had did not go unnoticed, especially considering the mysterious and colossal power that Omni Goku displayed in that battle. However, Zenshin is not exactly pleased with Omni Goku's presence and says that he is the supreme being of the entire multiverse and that Goku's presence there is a threat to his sovereignty. Goku quickly realizes that Zenshin intends to resort to violence, and he says that's good, because he already had the intention of defeating Zenshin anyway. Wirus is shocked when he hears this, since he never imagined that Omni Goku would challenge Zenshin in such a way, or that Zenshin himself would want to eliminate Goku. Wirus realizes that, most likely, he will be considered a traitor and erased from existence by the Almighty. And so, Zenshin, the fusion of Zeno and the Grand Priest, prepares to face Omni Goku. Zenshin, the fusion of the God and the Supreme Angel, begins to emanate his ki. For almost anyone, the power level Zenshin is giving off right now would go unnoticed. Since the manifestation of his ki is subtle, it doesn't cause any kind of anomaly in the surroundings or anything like that. However, for Omni Goku, whose senses surpass the ordinary, it's clear how absurdly powerful this being is, a power on a level beyond everything that exists in this reality. Wasting no time, knowing that the one before him could in fact hurt him, Omni Goku transforms into his Shinken form, becoming Goku Prime, while staring at him with a piercing gaze, full of bloodlust contained by a neutral demeanor worthy of someone who is half angel. Zenshin comments that it looks like Goku is already starting off using his most powerful form. Goku Prime answers with a somewhat tense smile, saying that if he lets his guard down for even a millisecond, he could already be killed by Zenshin, so it's not a good idea to hold back here, since Zenshin is not the kind of opponent whose power needs to be tested. Zenshin praises Goku for recognizing this, and then asks if he still thinks it's a good idea to let those two try anything against him. Goku Prime is not surprised that Zenshin noticed this plan, and then he replies that of course he doesn't think it's a good idea. Goku Prime snaps his fingers, and then behind Zenshin appear Gogeta and Vegito, revealed to be there all along, respectively transformed into Ultra Instinct and Ultra Ego. Both were ready to attack Zenshin, and are shocked that Goku Prime revealed their presence like that. Vegito asks why Goku did this, and Gogeta complains that they were ready to immobilize Zenshin if necessary. Goku Prime answers them that, seeing Zenshin's power, it became clear to him that this would never have worked. Goku had used his powers to make Vegito and Gogeta invisible to the eyes, and also erase their key presence, so their energy couldn't be sensed. Yet even so, Zenshin was able to notice them. If his senses were capable of overpowering Goku's concealment, then that means lower level warriors like Vegito and Gogeta would never even be able to hurt him. Zenshin is simply on another level. Gogeta asks if Goku at least knows whether Zenshin is the one he was looking for. After sensing a bit of Zenshin's energy, Goku Prime has his answer. He says yes, Zenshin is tainted by the energy of the Lord of Chaos, and that must be the reason why so much discord exists in this reality, such as the discord between the peoples of Gogeta and Vegito. Vegito then says that he and Gogeta should make Zenshin pay for this, since that bastard was the one responsible for making their people suffer so much in this war. But Goku says no, and orders them both to stay away from Zenshin, because there is absolutely no chance of them winning. Without even waiting for their agreement, Goku Prime, with just a motion of his hand, teleports Gogeta and Vegito from where they were to Wirus' side, and orders the three of them to leave immediately because this is no place for them. Zenshin looks at the three with a deadly glare, especially at Wirus, who was his subordinate and yet betrayed his sovereign. Realizing that the wrath of the almighty Zenshin had been caused by him, Wirus thinks of leaving right away, fearing retaliation. He then calls for Gogeta and Vegito to get out with him, but the moment they even think of moving, their bodies are completely paralyzed. The one responsible was Zenshin, who, with nothing but the power of his will, froze their bodies entirely. Goku Prime realizes what just happened, and he praises Zenshin, since his power is truly absolute when it comes to the beings of this reality. Given that just the power of his will was enough to establish a rule within existence, the rule that these three could not move, no matter how much they tried. Zenshin also praises Goku for his sharpness in understanding what had happened. He says he calls this ability Sovereign Wish, and indeed, no being beneath him is capable of even reacting to his will. If he wished for the hearts of those three to stop beating right now, for example, it would happen according to his will. That is the difference between his power and the power of those he rules. But he admits that, unfortunately, it won't be so easy dealing with Goku, since Goku, just like him, stands on a level above those who live in this reality. Goku Prime proves Zenshin right, also directing the power of his will toward Wirus, Gogeta, and Vegito, allowing them to move again. And, after doing so, he extends his hands toward the three and makes them vanish from the scene to Zenshin's irritation. Goku Prime says that Zenshin is right. He doesn't belong to this reality. He came into this reality only to fulfill his duty as an Omniscient and to find the agent of the Lord of Chaos. Zenshin says that Goku found who he wanted, and now he's going to regret it. Zenshin makes a movement with his arm, and suddenly that throne room disappears, with the whole scenery shifting into a vast void in space. After doing this, Zenshin begins to release more power. Sensing Zenshin's power, Goku Prime acknowledges that this battle will be dangerous, even for him. Zenshin, if he is not on the level of an Omniscient, is at least very close to it. Goku Prime had already found the people of this reality powerful, such as Gogeta and Vegito, for example. And as for Wirus, he was able to injure him even while in the Shinken form, if Goku wasn't using a large extent of his Shinken power. But even with Wirus, if Goku raised his Shinken power to higher levels, he could surpass the barriers of power of this reality and stand above Wirus. However, with Zenshin, it's not like that. With Zenshin, even raising his Shinken power to the highest levels, Goku risks losing. Definitely, Zenshin can match the powers of an Omniscient. Zenshin confirms Goku's assumption and says that he is very close to becoming an Omniscient of the Lord of Chaos. He says that, on second thought, Goku Prime's presence here is a great opportunity, since if he kills Goku, the Lord of Chaos might promote him to Omniscient. Zenshin's palm shines, a glow so intense, it's as if he condensed multiple miniature stars within it. And then, space began to contort under the power of the fusion of the Supreme Angel and God, who evoked an ability called Flood of Singularities. Next, dozens, and then hundreds of micro black holes appeared in cascade, orbiting one another and falling upon Goku like a devouring rain. Each sphere distorted gravity around it, bending light and tearing space-time apart as it advanced. Goku Prime clenched his fists amidst the crushing pressure. The instant the first gravitational cores collapsed upon him, his body moved on its own, floating as if dancing between the rifts of space. At a certain moment, Goku Prime opened his arms and, with a muffled shout, concentrated his Shinken aura into multiple shockwaves. The impact didn't destroy the black holes, but deflected them enough for them to collide with each other, imploding in flashes of cosmic energy. Goku Prime wasted no time. He dashed in an instant impulse, his body crossing the distance between him and Zenshin as if ignoring space itself. His aura of power compressed into a single point, his fist. The target of Goku Prime's punch was aimed at Zenshin's chest, carrying a force that reverberated beyond that reality, an attack meant to shatter even a being superior to that world. Goku didn't want to risk playing around in that dangerous fight. He wanted to finish his opponent once and for all. But Zenshin merely raised his fingers, and around his body appeared a translucent, spherical dome with an oddly calm energy. An ability manifested there that Zenshin called Dome of the First State. When Goku Prime's strike collided with the barrier around Zenshin, his force simply vanished, along with the powerful aura of energy enveloping his fist. It was as if Goku had never attacked at all. After his attack was frustrated, the Omniscient Saiyan stepped back, surprised. He understood what had happened. That defensive dome had simply made the energy he used for the attack return to its normal state before it was channeled into that offensive. It was as if Zenshin made his very attack return in time, to the moment when it had no no strength at all. This was yet another confirmation that Zenshin is on the same level as him, because his abilities do in fact affect Goku, and can overpower him if he's not careful. But Goku Prime presses on and charges again, this time with even greater momentum. He challenges Zenshin to stop keeping his distance and face him hand to hand. And Zenshin decides to rise to the occasion, no longer resorting to abilities that keep them apart, but engaging in a direct exchange of blows. Space trembled with every shift in position, punches and kicks. A battle that reality had never seen before unfolds. Zenshin's consciousness split into 3 layers, an ability called Triple Instinct. Zenshin's body moved on its own, responding to what Goku Prime did with pure reflex. This is the first layer of his Triple Instinct, the physical layer, which resembles the standard Ultra Instinct, but at an even higher level, worthy of the half of Zenshin that is composed of the Supreme Angel. Zenshin's mind calculated Goku Prime's next step, cutting off his movement route before it was even completed. This is the second layer of Triple Instinct, the mental layer, characterized by a combat mind so advanced that, by pure instinct, Zenshin was already capable of foreseeing what Goku would do in battle. And the third layer of Zenshin's Triple Instinct was the Auric layer, where the extremely powerful aura of the Supreme God and Angel itself responded to his instinct, making even the intent behind Goku Prime's strike be hindered by his instinct, causing Goku's movement to lose part of its force before touching him. It's a moral overlay. Dealing with Zenshin's Triple Instinct is a gigantic challenge, even for Goku Prime at the peak of his Shinken power. Very heavy strikes land, causing Goku Prime both internal and external injuries, and his blood begins to spill from Zenshin's blows. But of course, Goku didn't back down, and using his razor-sharp combat mind, with his abilities and perceptions heightened to the maximum by Shinken, Goku began to actually put pressure even on the Triple Instinct. After much effort, Goku managed to land his fist on Zenshin, but the sensation was strange, as if he had struck against something that shouldn't exist in that space. At that moment, Zenshin was already one step ahead. Literally, Zenshin's eyes flicker in the announcement of another ability, Future Advancement. In that micro instant, he pulls a probability of a favorable event for himself 3 seconds ahead. In other words, Zenshin just saw a positive possibility for himself in the future and brought it into the present. To Goku, it seemed like Zenshin was already in motion even before the attack began. The Saiyan launched a strike, but Zenshin was already behind him, his arm raised to deliver a descending blow. Goku barely had time to spin his body, blocking with his forearm. The force was colossal, slamming him against the void as if struck by a divine hammer. And this blow also generated massive internal pressure within Goku Prime's body, damaging his internal organs and even the balance of his ki. It was an attack both on a physical and spiritual level. Even so, Goku Prime does not cower. His body spins in the air to return toward Zenshin, resuming the exchange of blows. At first, Zenshin seems unshakable, but that starts to change. Goku advances with a strike. Zenshin had already foreseen the future of this attack and moved his body in a way to parry it. But at the exact moment Goku's strike met Zenshin's defense, he completely changed his attack, delivering a blow that Zenshin could not foresee, for the first time drawing blood from the Supreme God and Angel. Seeing the surprise marked on Zenshin's face, Goku says that his future advancement is not omnipotent. He pulls probabilities a few seconds ahead, but he needs to fit that future into the present at every instant. Goku Prime resumes attacking Zenshin, and as his blows begin to land in ways Zenshin cannot avoid, he explains his strategy. Goku had realized during the fight that between Zenshin's vision of the future and the actual execution of that future in the present, there is an inevitable, almost invisible micro delay. So, Goku started creating chained attacks with multiple layers, one strike hidden inside another. On top of that, using illusory powers he learned in the world of ninjas and pirates, called Genjutsu, Goku distorts Zenshin's perception of time to help bypass his superior divine senses. That way, Zenshin reacts to the first future he saw, but right afterward comes another strike he didn't foresee because, besides being devised at the last second, it was also masked from his senses thanks to some illusion. Thus, Goku Prime's strikes begin to hit the Supreme God and Angel. At first, he manages to land only isolated blows, but then he refines the strategy more and more and begins to bombard Zenshin with sequential strikes. Zenshin becomes extremely enraged at this and curses Goku Prime with all his fury. Zenshin's aura becomes unstable, and he charges forward furiously to crush Goku Prime once and for all. But at that instant, Goku concentrates all his energy into a single punch. Not a Kamehameha or any other flashy technique, just a punch containing his great Shinken power. Zenshin thinks about defending himself with one of his majestic techniques, but Goku traps him in a temporal loop cage at the last moment, preventing Zenshin from doing anything, and so the blow strikes Zenshin in the chest, piercing through his absolute body. The Supreme God and Angel spits out a roar of pain and disbelief, while cracks of light spread across his divine body, an enormous amount of energy begins leaking from his body, including the evil energy of the Lord of Chaos. And this evil energy leaking from Zenshin's body strangely begins to accumulate, and from the accumulation of this energy, a voice emerges. The evil energy begins to speak to Goku Prime, apparently wanting to give him a message, a direct message from the Lord of Chaos. The Lord of Chaos praises Goku for defeating this servant of his, and says that if Goku really wants to advance in this quest against his servants, he will guide Goku to the right place. After saying these things to Goku, this tangle of dark energy surges at him, trapping Goku Prime in a desperate way, a prison from which not even by using all his Shinken power can Goku break free, driving him into despair. Zenshin, because of the mortal wound he received from Goku, has his body completely destroyed, disintegrating in such a way that not a single trace remains. And as for Goku, he vanishes in an explosion of dark energy.